Good morning, Bucknutters. Welcome to the Bucknuts Morning 5 here on Monday, September 29th, 2025. I am Dave Biddle, very happy joined by Dan Rubin. We're going to talk about some of the things that we like about this team. We're saying things that we love, I should say, about this team. Julian Sayin being one of them. Dan, I'm going to start with an easy one. What other than being really good players for the Ohio State Buckeyes, what do Julian Sayin, Caden Curry, Kayden McDonald, Bo Jackson, and Arvell Reese all have in common?
They're very handsome.
Okay, that as well. All first-year starters.
I knew the answer, Dave. No, very, very impressive. And far be it from me to use this to anecdotally prove one of my vibes, but you can't complain about not getting the elite second defensive lineman if you want to have Caden Curry on the team. That's where that money went in recruiting. Caden Curry is a first-year starter as a senior defensive end. So is Kenyatta Jackson. I can't even think of a scenario on another team where they would have stayed this long. And that's because Ohio State believes in paying for play. And I just want to say that they're doing a great job with it.
It's unbelievable. I mean, you talk about some of the returning starters on this team, like Caleb Downs, Sonny Styles, IGB's playing well. Some guy that wears number 4 on offense looks pretty good. 17 isn't bad either.
Didn't ring a bell.
You've heard of him. I can't think of his name right now. I think it might be it's something. I don't know. He's got a weird last name too. But he's pretty good. And how about the Reds? We got a little shout out to the Reds. That just adds to the Basking Level.
Congratulations, and to the dean
and to the Guardians, right? Yeah. I mean the Guardians, unbelievable. I mean, they're the Tigers. At least the Tigers made the playoffs. Man, that would have been the all-time collapse. No, I'm not joking. That would have been the all-time collapse in baseball history. But the Reds earlier this month, the Reds had a 1% chance of making the playoffs, and they got in. Thank you to the New York Mets and thank you to the Marlins. Appreciate that. All right, let me get some more of these comments. So, yeah, you look at some of the returning starters, and it's like they're all playing at a high level. Do we consider Austin Sareveld a first-year starter? Because he did start a couple of games last year and then played a ton. It was at guard, but now he's at left tackle. He's playing well. I mean, Carson Hinsman's playing well. Montgomery was the offensive player of the week, out there just laying pancakes like I shouldn't say like he's Orlando Pace. Let's not go too far here. But there were times where Luke Montgomery was like destroying his man so much that I was like, oh crap, are the refs going to like call like a 15-yard penalty? Even though it was definitely within the whistle, he was just laying people out. So the returning starters are all stepping up. And then, I couldn't ask for anything more from Julian Sayin. Caden Curry coming off an absolute historic performance. Buck Rational just put the stats up. 11 tackles. This is like just a straight out of, this is like a dream game for a defensive player. 11 tackles, 9 solo tackles. 5 tackles for loss, which is an Ohio State all-time record, and 3 sacks. Caden Curry, unbelievable. Kayden McDonald was like, if it wasn't for Caden Curry, we'd be talking about Kayden McDonald having one of the best performances we've ever seen. We can talk about both of them. Arvell Reese, Bo Jackson. These guys are all first-year starters. Jermaine Matthews is another first-year starter. Jalen McClain, another first-year starter. These guys are just – I could not be more impressed, Dan, with where this team is after 4 games.
I echo those sentiments. I don't know about you, Dave. Sometimes I like to watch the responses of other podcasts and other. I really like watching when we win and beat Penn State and Michigan, watching their post-game podcast, but I digress. Wallowing in their grief. I did find it interesting that I heard I was driving back from Parents' Weekend, and I had the old pod machine going. Both Todd McShay and Scott Van Pelt, when they were describing our defense, used an F-bomb. Like both said they needed, like they weren't getting across the proper emphasis, and a well-used F-bomb. And then they say things like this shouldn't be the case when you replace at least the defense that many starters. But if you go through it, they're actually, I don't know if you can say they're better on defense, but if you go player for player.
I think they are.
If you go player for player, it's hard to say they're better on defense knowing they replace all 4 starters on the defensive line. That just sounds preposterous. That said, I don't think there's any argument. The best unit in the country is Ohio State's defense. That's not even, I think I could argue that in court and do Will Ferrell and nail that in a debate. You know what I mean? Very comfortably. And I don't want to say this, and jinx them, but the feeling you get in your soul with your defense, much like last night when you feel like you're going to be, a prison in a movie scene with the Cowboys defense. I might be more confident in this defense than I've been in another defense. Now that's relative. It's all based on who you play and stuff like that. But look, Jermaine Matthews, in my opinion, let's go my opinion here, so I don't better than Denzel Burke.
Oh, I'm sure in the opinion of
Caleb McLean, I'm not
the NFL too. Denzel, 5th round pick, and you got to be a really good player to be a 5th round pick. Jermaine Matthews will not be a 5th round pick.
No. And Lathan, great player. So Jalen McLean, if you want to give the edge to Jalen there, that's fine. I think Jalen might have a little more range as a safety. Caleb, he's improved a year over the year. Igbinosun, look, he had an oven mitt summer. So far, another knock on wood guy. He hasn't been the hold your breath, see a guy celebrating with a flag behind him in the air guy, which was the worst. Cody Simon had a tremendous year. Nobody would tell you he's better than Arvell Reese, including NFL scouts. And then I'll have a boarding house item on this today. Tyreek Williams was picked in the first round of the NFL draft. And is Kayden McDonald playing better than Tyreek Williams was? I mean, you need the all-22 with an interior guy for something like that. And then Caden Curry was like channeling JT at Penn State. You know what I mean? Just going like on a statistical. It was one of those games where your kid calls you into the room when he's playing Madden. He's like, look what I did. And you're like, that's not realistic. Okay. People don't have 11 tackles and 3 sacks. First-year starters don't do that. Apparently they do. And then Bo Jackson is a revelation, dude. He's a revelation. I did not hear one person on earth. I'll bet you the coaches at his high school are surprised how good he's been. He is spectacular. Now, managing this is important. Like, people get concerned about the 24 points. He only had 6 possessions. Theoretically, they didn't turn it over. Once the beginning of the game went in the classic fashion to get them to be conservative. You fumble on 4th and 1, which that was, you don't get the 4th and 1, which Donaldson has to get that. I don't care what anyone tells me. That's on him. You're going to come in as a 230. You got to get that. I know the guy got
Bo Jackson's always falling forward. What do we say?
Got to get it.
There's certain things that good running backs do more often than not. They make the first guy miss, and they fall forward after contact. Bo Jackson took a hard hit in that game, then fell forward for 3 more yards.
Agreed.
He's always falling forward. You're right. Donaldson, yeah, Nate Roberts blocked his own guy. True. Both things can be true. If you're 232 pounds, you got to be able to get that yard, like you're saying, Dan Rubin, and like
the guy went low on him.
Grass knocked backwards, like yeah. And I'm glad CJ Donaldson's on this team, but I said this on the postgame show. We saw the last game ever that Bo Jackson will come off the bench. He will either start every game he plays at Ohio State the rest of the way, or if he doesn't start, that's because he's hurt or something, because he's never going to be the second running back to come in the game ever again. He is RB1. He had 17 carries. Didn't matter. He didn't start the game. I bet you anything he'll start this week against Minnesota.
I don't even really care in terms of who comes out first. And also, Bo was hurt last year a little bit. He missed a lot of his senior year. This is a long, long season. And I think what you're seeing overall, this is just my opinion, and Day somewhat dances. I think he's playing for the long haul. I think the conservative approach is about bodies and about conserving energy and realizing how far they have to go. I don't want Bo Jackson. I mean, we need a couple games coming up here of James Peoples getting a ton of carries. You don't need Bo Jackson getting 20 carries against UCLA or Northwestern.
I agree. But there's a reason Kayden McDonald starts the game. There's a reason Caden Curry starts the game. You could use that about any player. Well, we don't want to get him banged up. We're going to start Tywone Malone. No. Starters need to start. I don't want to hear about it.
I don't know if that comparison makes sense to me, but okay. Running back is different, and and I only am doing this because he's so young and he was hurt last year. I would not start the backup. The gap between the backup defensive tackle and Kayden McDonald is large. I'm not saying that. CJ Donaldson can handle a couple of carries on a first possession when everyone's getting their juice out and trying to hit somebody, and then put it in Bo. But top carries, main guy, if you need in a clutch situation, obviously you go with Poe.
Yeah, I mean, if he's getting 17 carries, it doesn't matter. I mean, if he starts the game, I just think, I don't know. The window dressing is over for me. That's exactly what it is window dressing. That CJ Donaldson starts one game, People starts the next. No, those guys are the backup running backs. Bo Jackson is the starting running back, period. All right. Minnesota this week. Buckeyes favored by 22.5, 23.5, depending on where you look. I don't see Minnesota being the first team this year to score double digits on this defense. I think they're going to hold them under 10 points. Breaking news there. Although I think Minnesota's got a pretty good young quarterback in Drake Lindsey. I like him. He'll be a good Big Ten quarterback. In fact, Big Ten quarterbacks are really, really good this year, other than Drew Aller, to the surprise of nobody here. But and I think Ohio State's going to easily score 35 or more points. You add it up. I like the Buckeyes to cover and smother this week. I know this isn't a gambling show, but people like to make a little coin out there. I think the Buckeyes are going to maybe not easily cover, but coming home, night game, Minnesota's I think they're going to smoke them this week.
Very interesting. I don't think Minnesota has the squad. I don't think there's any question about that. The thing about the defense, Dave, is they don't bust. That's the thing about them that makes me think that this is also doable long term, is that, and I guess it's possible that they will, and there's nothing, most defenses get stuff wrong every now and then. You just talked about Roberts blocking the wrong dude on offense. I don't know. That does happen on defense, I'm sure, if you had the all 22 and you could review that. But boy, they seem to be buttoned up. You're going to have to make a tremendous individual play against them. They're usually in position. If you can even think back to the touchdowns that have been scored against them or the big points, they're obvious in your mind because one guy got beat or it was a great throw. Like Arch didn't play well against Ohio State in the first game, but the touchdown pass he threw that was a dime. You know what I mean? And Matthews is in position, and the other guys get paid too now that it's college. So you got to just tip your hat.
I love that because it used to be they're on scholarship too. Yeah, they're on scholarship too, and they're making six figures over there as well.
Arch, he might be making seven figures.
Arch is definitely making seven figures.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Warby Parker.
Yeah. But guy like Jermaine's probably in the six figures. In fact, I know he is. And
deservedly so.
Right.
Yeah. So no, if you look at their schedule, there are people I trust in the media who have done not a better job, but have gone and looked more ahead and started to look at that kind of stuff and break it down and say that, Greg McElroy said he thought Washington was the best offense they'll face. And if that's the case, if you go through it, it's hard to argue. I mean, Washington has legitimate players.
Yeah, Michigan's got a good running game, but they're so one-dimensional unless who knows though. Underwood, because one of the things that really impresses me about Sayin, we knew he'd be accurate. He's even more accurate than I expected though. But his poise, he's the epitome of California cool. The Carlsbad Kid. We were trying to think of a nickname for him. I was a guest on a podcast with Doug Lamoreese and Bill Landis and Tim May. We were trying to come up with a nickname for Julian, and Tim May went with Just Sayin. Okay, I went with the Carlsbad Kid. I know that's kind of basic, but it just kind of fits him. Carlsbad Kid. I don't know.
I thought what about King Julian? King Julian?
Well, he's headed down that path. By the way, I love Ohio State quarterbacks wearing that number 10. It's awesome.
I'll tell you what, so I've only met him a couple times. Ironically, the first conversation I had with him was on an elevator because I was talking to him and I got a text. I looked down, it was from my son complaining that in his Madden, the last 3 times he's done it, he hasn't started Julian Sayin as a freshman and he transferred to Stanford. And I asked him, like, why? And here's what he said to me. He's like, you're not the first person to tell me that. So there must be a glitch in the game that gets him sent to Stanford. He's not the biggest dude. I get it. But he's not a little guy.
No. He's closer to 6'2" than he is. People ask me all the time, is he really 6'1"? I'm like, if anything, he's taller than that. I've looked at him almost. I'm a little bit taller than him. I looked at him eye to eye. I have the video on our YouTube page. You can go back. Julian Sayin one-on-one interview. national championship game media day. So the day before the national championship game, I had a one-on-one interview with him. And man, he's just special. He's special. And reading Patrick Murphy's awesome story,
great,
gives you a lot. Really, just I don't know, just really illuminates like how he became this guy that he is. He just loves football, the human jugs machine, you know, as they've nicknamed him.
He's a smart kid too.
That's the thing. Like his brother went to Penn and played quarterback at Penn. You know, he wasn't a dummy. Was a
Listen, his
captain.
brother went to Penn. His sister played basketball or played sports at the University of Chicago.
Jeez. Former Big Ten member of the University of Chicago.
Yeah, we visited. My son got recruited for basketball to Chicago. And on the tour, someone said to us, "This is the place where fun comes to die." And we're like, all right, pass on that. But those from an academic perspective, if your older brother and sister went to those schools, the apple can't fall that far from the tree. He's just a smooth cat. And I'll tell you this, I have never heard Day say this. And you may have, because you've obviously talked to him more than I have. But after the game, he said, I got on Julian a couple times for not getting rid of it in the first half. And when I looked at the tape, he was right and I was wrong. He said that out loud. And I was like, oh my God.
I don't think I ever have heard Day say that, because quarterbacks, we all know offense is his baby, but really his baby is specifically quarterbacks. Obviously, it's what he played. It's what he came up coaching. No, I don't think I've never heard him say that about CJ, Justin, nobody. Will, certainly not Kyle McCord. Kyle, he was always like, you could tell he was always holding stuff back with Kyle. He was so frustrated with Kyle McCord all the time.
Yeah. And the backup, he couldn't go to the backup. I don't think that made him too happy. You know what I mean? He usually likes to play. It's nice to have two, and they usually do. But good Lord. Yeah, man, it's just, he is, like you said, he's just so accurate. I gave that PFF grade out last week. He's 9% more accurate than any other quarterback in college football.
That's insane.
And I get, they played this team. This was heading into this past game. They've played this team and that team. I get that. But if you're trying to just make a judgment on a freshman quarterback and his first 3 starts, if you have every quarterback in the country line up and throw 100 balls and he completes 9 more than everybody else, you're off to a good start.
Yeah, people are going to say, well, he's throwing the ball to Jeremiah Smith. I get that. Carnell Tate. Okay. Texas is one of the best defenses in the country.
Denzel Boston's going to be a first-round draft pick.
Yeah, and listen, I mean, like, is Washington's defense leaky? Yeah, we said that coming in. We thought that, like, they could be, as you were just saying earlier, who did you say? Greg McElroy said they might be the best offense Ohio State faces all year. No one was saying that about Washington's defense. I get that. But I still am so damn impressed with everything that Julian Sayin brings to the table. First and foremost, his poise, like I said, that's so impressive for a redshirt freshman just to be, I think it's never, ever rattled, ever.
It seems like his personality, though. If you, like what I was saying when you spoke to him, I should have said, like, there are certain guys that are just, it's not fake. It's authentically chill.
Yes.
To the point where sometimes you're like, dude, let's go. You know what I mean? But he's not just California cool. He's Northern San Diego, not poor guy cool. You know what I mean?
He's
Carlsbad is not
bad cool.
Carlsbad is like, if you have like a northern suburb or an exurb of your town that has like really nice pads and it's like the parents are willing to do the commute for some land and San Diego. Don't forget you get beach pay out there, which means, you want to come work here at the beach? We're going to pay you less. That is California cool. When people think California cool and LA no, they mean San Diego.
Oh yeah.
That's where people are cool.
It's got to be the best climate in our country.
San
Diego area. World. Let's go with.
I'm serious.
Let's go with
Coronado,
between like 60 and 70, like every day,
and no humidity. Why do you think the Navy SEALs are there to protect you right on the island? It's awesome.
Right. And you're close to Tijuana, as you like to say. No, you don't like to say that. I'm not going to get you in trouble, Dan.
I have been to Tijuana.
That's enough. I don't need to know anything else.
I did not eat the hot dogs wrapped in bacon on the street, but I was 17, so no digressions needed.
Yeah, it's one thing. I did not ask Julian because I didn't know. I didn't want him to lie to me, and I didn't want to hear the answer. Like, have you ever been to Tijuana? I mean, if you're from San Diego, I'm sure you've made the trip. Yeah, it's just, I mean, so damn impressed with him. This offensive line, we're probably not talking about it enough. I know I glossed over it earlier with Luke Montgomery, Sarabeld, Hinsman. Tegra's got to step it up, but I like that Onion was right there. I mean, that's when those guys are rotating at right guard, you're like, life is good. You got Tegra, whatever, going back to what these guys are making. I think Onion was making like right at $1 million. Pretty good for your sixth man on the O-line. And then I think Phillip Daniels, I know he had that penalty. I think he's playing really well as well. But, kudos to Luke Montgomery being the offensive player of the week. He could have picked a lot of guys, including the aforementioned quarterback. And it says a lot that Luke was the offensive player of the game. Just really, really happy with the job Bowen's doing, because we rightfully so, we talked about the job that Justin Fry did. Wasn't a good recruiter, in my opinion, although some of these guys are panned out. Maybe we gave Justin Fry too hard of a time, because look at some of these guys. And I still don't think he casted a wide enough net, but whatever. It's working out well. But, man, he could coach his ass off. And Tyler Bowen, he's a good recruiter. But could he coach his ass off? Yeah.
Cerville says, Guy, you remember that the first time we met him, he said Cerville, the day he got to campus, was among, if not the best run blockers for the squad. The issue was he played high school for Lakota East, which runs like a military style offense. So he had never done pass blocking so well. He's been great, man. I mean, he's no fanfare and just solid. And another thing, nobody predicted he'd be the left tackle. The one thing that also jumps out to me, David, I want to get on record here is, and you know this as because you're a Reds fan, the one thing in sports you want to be is strong up the middle in any sport. If you go look through that, and you wonder why Ohio State's having so much success on defense, they may be stronger up the middle right now than they've been that I can remember. McDonald, and then like Reese or Styles, and then Downs. I mean, the idea that Downs, Styles, and Reese are your three like run guys, that might be the best trio doing those jobs at the same time that I can remember. Just physically, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're all great players. If you've ever talked to them, they're all wise beyond their years. But just in terms of gifts, there are NFL people didn't like this when I said last week that Ohio State secondary is better than Dallas's. It is. I'm not kidding. And I realize how hyperbolic that is.
Better than the Bengals, too. I'm telling you, not hyperbolic at all. Yes, for sure.
I'm saying, if you have a week of practice and you put them in there instead of, they would do better. That's what I'm saying. Yes. Would the teams win? Are we going to start the goofy sports radio Pete Rose argument? No, I get it. But I'm telling you, it's ridiculous. And McDonald has really been a revelation. And Downs, we're now into we're taking Downs for granted role, because he makes a lot of those plays that you don't see. And it's like, having a nuclear bomb keeps the other person from setting off their nuclear bomb. You don't see a lot of the greatness. It's like having a shot blocking center. The best thing is they don't even go in and shoot there. They're not even going near those guys. They're trying to avoid them. So I just cannot be more impressed with the
Sean Springs effect, man. Sean Springs, he didn't have an interception his final year at Ohio State because they never would throw his way. He was still Big Ten Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, with 0 interceptions as a corner. I bet that's never happened in any other conference where the conference player of the year is a corner with 0 interceptions, but everybody knew why. Sean Springs, baby. Man, I tell you what, I know we've said in 2019, there were a few times we said this might be the best team that we've ever seen at Ohio State. You remember talking about that? And we were not joking around. And of course, I still think, that would have been a good game between Ohio State and LSU if that didn't get stolen away from Ohio State against Clemson, but we'll never know. And last year, coming into the year, we were like, this could be an all-time great team. And it ended up being an all-time great team, even though they had the 2 losses, because national championship, still basking. My goodness, man. I didn't even want to let myself get there, but because it's never happened in school history, it's so damn tough to repeat. If I had to pick right now, I think they will repeat. Now, if you said Ohio State or the field, I'd probably take the field, but man,
that's a gambling question, though. That's not a football question.
If you have to only take one team, there's no doubt in my mind I would take Ohio State, knowing that Oregon's very good. They look really good. Dante Moore is legit for sure. Big game, James, another big loss. But man, I think Ohio State's the best team in the nation, and they've got a really, really good chance of being the first team in Ohio State history to repeat as national champs.
And like we said, it's relative, right? So you only have to be better than the teams you're playing against. So even in discussing how good this team is, we're saying it relatively based on what we've seen. That's all that matters. You only got to beat who's out in front of you for this year. I don't think. I think Vegas would tell you that the strong money or the favorites have to be Oregon and Ohio State right now. I don't see.
They are.
See how else you would rank. I mean, I think Texas A&M is going to be ranked third. Is that correct? They're up there. There is no way they're the third or fourth best team, and no one thinks that. Miami
might be. Yeah, Miami might be.
I got to see that one, man. Let me see. Yeah. Let me see Carson Beck make it through a whole season. I think someone might have texted that. I put on here that Arch Manning has stepped away from football. That would be incredible. That's what that looks like.
Manning stepping away from football. Could we flip anywhere? Wow, Dan and loses more games due to Manning stepping away from football. I haven't heard that. That would be on the front page of ESPN. Producer, can you look that up for me? I'll get right on that. Yes, sir. I'll get right on that.
Yeah, I checked that. That's what I was looking down from on my phone.
Nah, that would be like the number one thing on the ticker right now. I'm not seeing that. I guess the Reds making the playoffs is just stealing all of the national attention. I'm kidding. First thing you see Lamar Jackson hurt his hamstring. Unclear how long he's going to be out. Dan Rubin's Dallas Cowboys put up 40 points against our old friend Jeff Hafley and his Packers defense, fit to be tied. I get to watch the Bengals lose tonight, but I don't care at all. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything about Arch Manning stepping away from football.
There seems to be some disagreement on there.
Maybe just he's joking. Maybe that's just like he's playing so poorly that it looks like he's stepping away from football. I don't know.
Fake news. Manning is not stepping away from football. All right, that's good.
There you go. Brass tacks. Let's get down to brass tacks here. He is not stepping away from football. That's according to brass tacks. All right. Any parting shots? I'm good to go. Anything else you want to get out there?
Just that I've been very, very impressed. And the price for Matt Patricia is going up, up, up.
Thank you for mentioning him. I should have a pencil in my hat right now. How about Mark Neal having a pencil in his hat for the post-game show? Yeah, man. There's going to be Ohio State fans at the game for sure this Saturday with pencils in their hats. Glad you mentioned Patricia, man. I mean, you lose Jim Knowles. He's doing a good job at Penn State. It was a 3-3 game, and Penn State's offense could not convert on third down. So Penn State's defense was out there forever, and there's no way in heck I would trade Matt Patricia for Jim Knowles. I mean, they lose 8 draft picks off the defense. They lose the defensive coordinator, and they're better. And Matt Patricia is a big reason why. Obviously, the guys that we mentioned, the personnel is fantastic. But Patricia, what he's doing is just awesome. And the guys love him. You saw him like with Kayden McDonald after the game. That was so cool.
What's not to love?
Well, that's the thing. Like, they seemed like they loved Knowles. They would talk nice about him, but like you would never see anything like that. Like, they are tight. Like, he is tight with these guys. He's known them for just a few months.
It's interesting. Both Patricia and Knowles are smart guys. And when I say smart guys, I mean like real smart, like legit smart, Ivy League or, aeronautical engineer smart, which means smarter than us. But I did, and someone had this on the front row, which is awesome. One of the good things about the front row is everyone is out there canvassing the earth for Ohio State related information and bringing it back. And one of them talked about a podcast where LeVar Arrington's son is on the Nittany Lions. And there's been complaints that the defense is too complicated. They're having trouble picking it up a little bit. So we've been there before. In terms of getting started, go back and look at the stats when Knowles first got here. There were busts. There were big plays, a lot of them. And then they adjusted and got it good. The fact that Patricia hit the ground absolutely sprinting, running isn't even good enough, is certainly a strong sign. And, Drew Aller is an Ohioan, and we did make a run him at the end, but there is no, like I talked about the defense, the confidence you get from just having them out there. And I've never been more confident in any football team, and this started last year when another team gets inside the 20. It's like, no, they won't score. It's a ridiculous premise that they don't. It's ridiculous how good they are in the inside the 20. There's no fit. Whereas other teams, you're like, oh, this is just holding the 3. They cross the 50, and you're like holding the 3, and you start doing like field goals won't beat us, and kissing your girl, ties are like kissing your shit. they somehow just don't let you in the end zone ever, which is awesome. And that started last year. I don't want to give all the credit to Patricia on that, the most famous goal line stand ever. So, yeah, and D would let you know if there was
an issue. That says a lot right there when you have one of the moms, Mrs. D. Sanchez, saying the way Coach P is with the players. For those that are not watching on YouTube, the way Coach P is with the players is what I appreciate. I know people are also watching on Facebook and X. Shout out to you guys as well. But for people that are just listening to the show, yeah, that says a lot. Mrs. Sanchez saying Matt Patricia, the way he is with the players is what she appreciates. That's awesome. That's great to hear. And it's no surprise. You can see it. You can see it, but it's good to hear the validation there.
And there's going to be an elastic benefit to this because these guys are getting NFL coaching right now. So, and I could do another story about another 20 minutes on the red zone and how if you watch the red zone, it's literally like a marketing ploy for the Buckeyes. There was a stretch yesterday where I watched Davon Hamilton get a sack, Olave get a touchdown, Emeka, who was the second coming of Jerry Rice. I'm just kidding, sort of. And it's just bing, 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 bing. It's just and I go back to this. Every guy who comes to Ohio State, even the kicker, does the I'm going to go there for 3 years thing. They're all trying to get to the NFL draft. Their value in the draft is going to be increased on defense when they can say, by the way, also Patricia knows 100 people in the NFL. He can call and be like, you need to take this guy. That's not going to help. They are cruising at a level now as a program. That's the question we really need to ask. I don't want to leave. Are they apexing as a program? Because who's doing it better than them right now? And I know people say, listen to this. I want to make this point really quickly. And you can tell the caffeine is kicking in. Look at the defense and who we talked about today. Two of the guys we talked about a lot, Caleb Downs and Kayden McDonald. They are from the state of Georgia. Do you know how many sacks Georgia's defensive line has right now?
Wow.
0.
Wow.
Do you think Kayden McDonald will help their defensive line?
Oh, boy.
You think Edric Houston would help their defensive line? He from Georgia. Can you imagine what will be going on at our site right now if Georgia had 3 key defenders from Ohio and was whipping up on everybody? I see they've got the #1 recruiting class, but come on, man. We've got to give the crew credit here, the staff, for player choice. They're not busting on guys either. Like the guys they've brought in here, I can think of one guy right now, and I'm not going to even who they probably shouldn't have paid as much as they did. And you're not going to be perfect. Nothing's 100%. These are human beings. But think about that. We've got 3 guys starting on our defense from Georgia, okay? And Georgia has, I think this is accurate, I think Georgia has the worst pressure rate in the country. I know they were above just Purdue.
That's crazy for a Kirby Smart defense.
And look at, that's not just crazy for the defense. That's bad recruiting. Go look at who they've had in that state for the last 6 or 7 years. Go look at the top 10 of players. If we had missed on that many Ohioans, people would be losing their blanking mind.
No doubt about it.
Losing their mind.
Yes.
Meanwhile, we've got guys who didn't even start till their senior year who have not 3 times as many sacks because they got 0, who got 3 sacks in 1 game.
That's another thing. Ohio State's development is impressive and their retention. I mean, that just to have a guy like Caden Curry and a guy like Kenyatta Jackson stick around for 4 years when they weren't starting for 3 years, and they know they would have started on 95% of the teams out there. That says a lot to me about the culture there. I know it's nothing new to anybody watching this show. We know that they have a great culture over there, but it just amplifies that culture and just why.
And then hearing that.
It's special. Yeah.
You don't think Kenyatta Jackson and Caden Curry had anybody in their life that told them to transfer? Are you kidding me? If you leave the house and you're a good player now, I don't care what sport you play, that's the first question anybody asks you. Oh, when are you going to transfer? I'm not kidding. So I'm just really impressed, man. It's time to just give them credit. We're the defending champs. Now, here's the one thing. I cannot explain what happened with the Michigan game. Everything else fits in my brain, and then that's like the one outlier, okay? And assuming everything goes correctly here, You're talking about Day with the chance. If he walks off the field undefeated with that W, he's going to be regarded as, without question, the best coach in college football. There won't be an argument. Now, it takes a long time to get there. I get it. And that's the one thing I can't explain. But if you talk about, like, keep in mind the recruiting for receiver, when you start every game and their other team is afraid of your receivers, it's such an advantage. We've got guys who are now at junior and high school who they're going to be afraid of still. Jameer Brown at Wayne is a force, and he'll be with Chris Henry. And you've got the quarterback set up. So I just want to – they deserve the credit, man. When you're the defending champs, you replace this many starters, and 3 or 4 weeks into the season, you're this much of a Vegas favorite. I don't think – that's like Alabama talk. If you go match that up, that's Alabama and Georgia talk. They're the only teams that probably have done that Vegas-wise. I realize nothing's really been done, but they deserve credit for what they've done. Now, look, if they S the bed somewhere, we'll get on them, but they deserve the credit for what they've done to this point.
And I'm glad Julian Sayin did not transfer to Stanford.
Me too. Good Lord.
Stay away from him, Andrew Luck. All right, great stuff from Dan Rubin. Appreciate it, Dan. Thanks to everybody. We have a large audience here. We love that. If you're not already subscribed to our YouTube page, please do that. It helps us out. We're trying to
very
get
much
more subscribers than the Michigan site, so let's do that. We like beating Michigan in every form and fashion, so please like, subscribe. That helps us a lot. No cost to you guys, but it helps us. Thanks again to Dan. Thanks to all of you. We appreciate it very much. Hope everyone has a great rest of your day. Go Bucks, and I hope you're still basking.